Hey guys, so today I want to talk a little bit about my grandma on my dad's side and everything that I learned from her. She was a great and awesome woman, and I hope one day to be just a little bit of the type of woman that she was. So I wish I had pictures of her when she was younger. She was a beauty. Seriously, she was really, really beautiful. But I don't have any. So here's a picture of her with my dad and my uncle. Both she and my dad already passed away. My uncle currently lives in California. This is a picture of her with two of my second cousins and three of them, and she's holding my second cousin who was born. There I am with my little cheesy smile. So I wanted to talk about her a little bit. I'll be showing you some pictures as I go. Her name was Tomasa, which I'm not really sure how to pronounce that in English. Tomasa? Not really sure. It might be like equivalent to a Thomasina. Tomasette, I'm not really sure. Mostly everybody called her Tome or Tommy. So that's what they would call her. And she was born on March 7th, 1921. And she had 3 children, 1 girl and 2 boys. And she was born and raised in the city that I was born and raised here in South Texas. And she lived here her whole entire life. I want to talk a little bit about her. She and my grandpa did not make it. I don't know why, or I don't know how. She never talked bad about him. She never even mentioned anything negative about him. But so I really don't know why their marriage didn't work. But what I can tell you about her was that she was a single, hardworking lady. She raised not only her children, which were 3, but her brother's children who lost their mother due to cancer. And she was helping raise them and work for them. And this was back in the time where there wasn't any federal aid, there wasn't any, food stamps and Medicaid or any of that stuff. And she put an example that in my life, your life might not be easy, but you can definitely work hard, to put food on the table and to ensure that your kids grow up to be good kids. And she was, like I said, a single mom, and her kids did well. My aunt was the first person in her family, I think, to ever get a bachelor's degree, a master's degree actually, but at that time a bachelor's, and so she raised the good kids. My dad followed the military legacy. He comes from a long line of military men, and he chose that route. My uncle, he not really sure. I know he finished school, but I don't really know what he did with it. So she raised good kids who were never in gangs, who were not burdens to society. So just because you're a single mother, don't feel that your kids aren't going to be good kids. If my grandma did it, back in the 50s and the 60s, you can totally do it now. So I really admire her for that, now that I really can understand that. She taught us how to pray. Oh, by the way, before I even mention about praying, my mom is a good cook. Let me tell you that. My mom is an awesome cook. Honestly, I don't know what happened to me, but my mom is an awesome cook. But my grandma was an awesome cook. Oh my God, you haven't had food until you've eaten this lady's food. And sadly, she didn't leave us any recipes. My God, everything tasted good. There wasn't a single thing that she didn't make that just wasn't delicious. honestly, everything, her rice, her pico, anything, I was going to say pico de gallo, but no, she never made, I meant to say picadillo, but anything she made, this lady just, like, it was delicious. So I used to love eating at her house. My grandparents on both sides, they each lived on a corner of the same street. That's how my parents met. So sometimes, like, I would, like, go back and forth, like, you know, if I didn't like what my abuelita, my mom's mom, was making, I would go to my grandma's, because I always knew that she was going to make something really, really good. So anyway, she taught us how to pray. You know, at home, I was raised in a Christian family, but my mom didn't remember to tell us how to pray, and it was her like, no, you can't eat. Have you said your prayers? And she just instilled that in us. And she instilled us to go to church, and she instilled us to take pride in what we look like. She made sure we were always clean, because she was always clean. I remember how she smelled. She smelled like Cotty powder. She was always had face powder. She had a lipstick, and she always smelled like body talc and perfume. She always smelled good. And I remember how her hugs would feel. They were so soft, and I just have so many good memories about her. And she looked right, just like you would imagine a grandma to look. You know, I see my mom, and I see so many other grandmas that are so young and so hip and so modern, but you know, my grandma was like the picture of what a grandma should look like. You know, curly hair and big glasses, you know, and a big dress. And so yeah, that's what she looked like. She would also knit. So on any given day, you would see her with her glasses, you know, just being all grandma-like with her little perm knitting. And I inherited something that she knitted. She knitted this quilt, and it has this flower, and I'm going to treasure this forever. And if God allows me to have children of my own, they're going to know where it came from, and hopefully they'll be able to tell their children where it came from. We were her only grandchildren. 2 of my sisters weren't born in this picture. It's just me, Nora, and Nancy here. But we were her only grandchildren. My dad was the only one who had children. My aunt never married, and my uncle, he married, but they weren't able to conceive any children. So we were her only grandchildren. Oh, did I also mention, not only was she knit and had the glasses and everything, but she was a grandma who would read stories. She instilled the love of books in me, honestly. Like, going to her house, I think I mentioned it before, she had a 2-story house, and in the stairwell, you know, not in the, like in the, I don't know what it's called, but by the stairwell, she had a book case. And I loved books. I loved going to her house because she had encyclopedias. She had dictionaries. She had all kinds of children's books. She had children's craft books. And I just loved going to her house and just reading books. Like, honestly, I could just do that all day. But not only would I read them, she would read them to us. Like, she would read us stories, and she would tell us stories, and she would always make us popcorn. She, like, if there was a movie, I remember watching The Wizard of Oz with her, not for the first time, but I just remember watching The Wizard of Oz with her, and she would pop popcorn. She loved to make biscuits. Oh my God, these biscuits are so good, so good. She's just a very wonderful lady, and I'm just so blessed, you know, to have had her in my life for 81 years, I believe. Not too sure on that. She left us all, except, I think, she left us all a quilt. She made us a quilt. When we were younger, she gave me this quilt when I was 7. It's probably cover a full-size bed nicely. Again, if God allows me to have children, that's going to be for one of them. If not, we'll see, maybe for one of my nieces or my nephews, or let's say, right, So, yes, her name was Tomasa, and she was born and lived in Weslaco, Texas, and she was just an amazing lady. And if the Lord gives me the opportunity to live that long, I don't want to be as blessed as she was, and I want to be a blessing. I know that people would call her, and she was always ready to pray for them, and she had her prayer partners, and every morning, you know, she'd be praying for her family, she'd be praying for us, she'd be praying for everything. So it's something that I'm always going to remember about her. You know, I loved her dearly, and I just wanted to remember her by doing this video, and I wanted to introduce you to her. You know, such a great woman shouldn't be forgotten. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Take care and God bless.